Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. How important is food to you in helping you celebrate the coming season of Advent and Christmas? Welcome to Wesley Impact. Thanks for joining us today. At Wesley Mission, we serve more than 3,500 meals every day in our nursing homes, retirement villages and conference centres, as well as campsites. We provide meals to a whole variety of people. And whilst we provide different types of meals to meet the different needs of the people we serve, we work to foster a sense of community and connection. Communal lunches and dinner times, morning and afternoon tea breaks help to foster important connections that often lead to positive friendships and interactions. In the Bible, Jesus often shared a meal with people who he sought to connect with and minister to. Quite often, he made a point of letting it be known that he was going to share a meal with certain people, perhaps a statement of connection, forgiveness, acceptance, or community. From Zacchaeus to the feeding of the 5,000, from the Last Supper to the breakfast by the Sea of Galilee with his disciples, Jesus shows us that food is an important part of his ministry. The most significant meal for Jesus and his disciples is reenacted each Sunday across the world in all its cultures in very different ways, giving a powerful message of the servant nature of Jesus' ministry. As we begin to enter Advent next Sunday and we approach the whole season and of Christmas, no doubt many of us will share a meal with our family and friends, perhaps our work colleagues. Today I'll be speaking with Kim Wilkinson, a lady who's got a passion for food, people and experience. A busy mother holding down a full-time job, Kim established Go West Gourmet and is now recognised as a food critic in Greater Western Sydney. I'll be speaking from John 18, and Joe Peacock will be joining us to sing Do You Hear What I Hear as we begin to approach Advent. Through our child and family work, Wesley Mission provides many opportunities for parents and children to connect with others in their local area. At Woodcroft, in Sydney's northwestern suburbs, a simple playgroup in a community neighbourhood centre is proving to be much more than that, much more than a playgroup. Parents are also coming together, connecting and learning from each other.
Woodcroft Playgroup is a supported playgroup. It's a structured playgroup. So what happens is the families get to come in and socialise with each other, but also the children get to do stationed activities where they can work inside and outside. The program is for children 0 to 5 years, so we have young children activities such as baby toys, crawling through a tunnel, activities where they can start developing their transition to school. It's great to see with the songs that they all now know the songs that we sing and the stories that are told. They come back each week and say, yeah, I really like that story, and yeah, it's good to see.
My name is Manisha Doshi and I have a 2.5-year-old. She is at the age where I want her to get trained for the preschool and all that. She was the bossy one, being the youngest. She wouldn't share at all, but I wanted her to learn. So I came in here and first thing she learned was sharing. And that's what I like about it, that she learns a lot of new things. She's learning manners, she's learning interacting with different kids. So little things like this that encourages. For myself, I get to make more friends. We are so good friends that we meet outside the playgroup and then we go out to places and have fun together, which is more like having fun with family itself. So yeah, definitely the getting into the group has helped me get more people, know more people, and some of them are really very close friends now.
My name's Louise Mill. My son Eric is now 4.5. We first started playgroup when he was just a baby. He always loves coming to playgroup. It's the highlight of his week, I think, that get to go to playgroup and just to see him sort of come and play with other kids and have fun. It's a good place for me because I have an autoimmune disease and that affects my joints and tendons. That makes me a bit more insular, I guess, because I don't get out a lot. I'm in a lot of pain quite often. So just sort of being able to come out and have somewhere where it's safe for him to just be able to play. Well, this playgroup's a bit different from other playgroups, as in it's supported. It's got a couple of support workers that you can talk to. It helps to know that as a parent and as a mum, that you're not doing it alone, and just coming out and seeing that, you know, there are other mums and we struggle in the same ways, and we kind of have the same joys and frustrations. That's been my big highlight.
I think when families come here, they see Wesley Mission as a safe place. We do get a lot of families who have opened up about financial issues or other family issues, mental health, domestic violence. What we're able to do is refer these families to other services in a safe environment.
Over 44% of households suffer from financial stress. Of those, 28% develop a diagnosed mental illness, and 10% experience domestic violence. Avoiding your finances makes it even worse. So Wesley Mission offers much needed support to help families face their financial future stress-free. Donate today to help families face their future stress-free.
If we can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Our email address is impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. That website, wesleymission.org.au, has full of all kinds of information. Kim Wilkinson is passionate about food, about people and experiences. And by her own admission, she doesn't see herself as a qualified food expert, but as somebody who's been able to combine her interests and her skills to establish a work that allows her to do what she loves. Welcome, Kim. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you.
Now, Kim, you say you're not a food expert. I don't think you want to be...
No.
I mean, we live in such a food paradise for some of these experts. But you have become recognised as a food critic, and in Greater Western Sydney in particular.
That's right.
How did that come about?
I'm a marketer by nature, and just really involved in social media, and I love food. And it was a time when I was sort of in the status quo with work, and God said to me, what do you want to do? Why don't you find something you're really passionate about that's just a bit more than a hobby that you can do and really enjoy? And do love food, and I love living in Western Sydney, and I saw a bit of a gap there where nobody was talking about the fact that there is good food in Western Sydney, and so I started promoting it on social media and blogging about it.
And look, there is plenty. We don't want to promote our city because we're all over Australia and Europe, but Western Sydney has such a place for different cultures. And
it is very multicultural.
It's a melting pot of fun,
right.
really, isn't it?
So the variety of food in Western Sydney is quite, more than a lot of Australia, but also in Australia we do have such great fresh produce and just delicious food and great people making it.
Tell me a little bit about the marketing skills, the media, the work you've done there that helps you then to move on to what we should talk about in a minute.
Yeah, so I have come from a media background. I've had about 20 years in media. 14 of those I've spent at the local Christian radio station, Hope 103.2, and marketing
what was
manager
it, Hope 103?
That's Hope 103.2. Tune in. And yeah, and of course the explosion of social media, the web.
Yes.
Been very involved in that, and so I enjoy learning about that, but also using it as a broadcast medium as well as radio.
So tell me then now more specifically about Go West Gourmet.
Yeah, so I, as I said, started with this concept of let's share with more people, my friends and family and anyone else who will listen, that there's this wonderful food in Western Sydney, and a Western Sydney newspaper started to take notice, and I would write reviews for the newspaper. And then after a while they decided that they'd like to take that on full term, and so they created a website. I'm their editor, and every week we put up either a story about what's happening food-wise in Western Sydney, or definitely a review on a great place that you
What's
can
good about it? Why did you do it, and what do you see the purpose of it as?
I think what's good about it is it didn't exist. People just didn't have a good opinion of what food was like in Western Sydney, and so my passion was to change those perceptions. And as a marketer, you want to get the truth out there. You want to tell people what is really happening, and And I think that's what's good about it, that it's changing people's minds about eating in Western Sydney.
And as Christian people, we want to be committed to cultural diversity too. And this is this a good area in which we can promote that?
It's a fabulous area to do that. I mean, Australia generally has some great multicultural food, but my goodness, Western Sydney, it's everything from Middle Eastern to Vietnamese to Nepalese to and everything in between that we're quite used to. It's just a melting pot. And what's great is that the food scene, particularly in Sydney, is growing and people are fusing different foods, and so we're just constantly getting new varieties.
How many restaurants have you actually reviewed?
It's well over 50, which is probably not a lot, but I haven't been doing it for that long. So.
If they see you come through the door then, what do they think?
Well, some know, some don't. I can be a bit stealth sometimes. So if they know, they're certainly on their game.
Look, and at this time of the year, as we begin to think about Advent and Christmas, they get very, very much busier, and people spend time with each other over a meal. How important for you is your Christian faith to what you're doing?
I guess for me, I think God's created you to do something, and something that you're good at. And to me, it's just that He created me to write and to promote, and I love eating. So it's when you do something that you love, I think God is glorified in that. And so that's the connection there. But definitely, eating out is such a, as you said, it's a connector of people. It unifies people, whatever culture you are. It can really bring people together, and I just think that's an amazing thing to connect people.
I mean, that moment when Jesus said to Zacchaeus, come down from that tree, I'm coming to your house. Coming to your house for a meal. I mean, that's a phenomenal statement, isn't it, really?
But that's an exciting thing for most people to feel, oh, I can welcome you. Hospitality is pretty much in everybody's DNA, and I think that would have been a very exciting moment.
And finally, how important is food to you as you begin to plan for Advent and Christmas?
I do like to have a couple of traditional dishes, or traditional for me, but making it more Australia-fied in that a lot of our traditional Christmas food is made for a Northern Hemisphere climate. So I do like to have things that are cooler. So if we have our roasted vegetables, I like to put them in a salad. If we have our pudding, I actually like to make that an ice cream cake version of that. But more than that, I think it is the getting together with your friends, your family, your work colleagues. Everybody's calendar gets very booked out, and it's a good thing because we use this time to make sure that we have that connection with the people that we love and care about, and we usually do it over food.
Thanks ever so much. So it's a bit more than turkey on the beach this Christmas. It's about actually trying to connect with people. Thanks for coming on the programme today, Kim. Now let's welcome Joe Peacock to sing Do You Hear What I Hear?
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? A song high above the trees with a voice as big as the
Over the years of Wesley Impact, Keith Garner has had hundreds of conversations sharing stories of hope, resilience, love and the Christian faith. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is a collection of inspiring and insightful conversations with people who are leaders in their field, including the New South Wales Police Commissioner Andrew Scipione, CEO of Lifeline Australia John Brogden, the inventor of the cochlear ear implant Professor Graham Clark, founder of Shed Happens Ian Watto Watson, respected Australian journalist Lee Hatcher, and the former Chief Inspector of the New South Wales Police Gary Raymond. Each conversation shares a unique perspective on leadership and the achievements of notable community leaders, and collectively presents a broad cross-section of leadership styles that have brought positive social change. Perspectives on Faith and Leadership is the first instalment of a 3-part series and is available now from Wesley Mission. To find out more, contact Wesley Mission on 02 9263 5555 or email impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
Great gift for Christmas and for anybody who's interested in listening to people who really are up there in terms of leadership at the kind of things as Christians that they have to say. As we prepare for Advent, which we take up next week, we're busy and we're anticipating what will soon be among us. But there are many things that we should explore before we enter that season. Traditionally, on the Sunday before Advent around the world, Christians will think about power, authority, kingship. And there are few stories in the whole of the Bible that are as powerful as John's account of Jesus Christ before Pilate. It's a long narrative and a drama which begins at John 18:28 and runs right through to the 16th verse of chapter 19. But I'm going to read to you just a few verses from John 18:33 through to 37. Pilate then went back inside the palace, summoned Jesus and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "Is that your own idea?" Jesus asked, "or did others talk to you about me?" "Am I a Jew?" Pilate replied. "Your own people and chief priests handed you over to me. What is it you've done?" Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders. But now my kingdom is from another place." "You're a king then," said Pilate. Jesus answered, "You say that I am a king. In fact, the reason I was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." What a story. Jesus is brought before Pilate's judgment seat. What a significant moment. He's brought before someone who symbolizes power and authority, as somebody who's been arrested, who looks as though he has no power in this world, but in point of fact, the only person in the whole of the world that's ever been born that has power is the one that has had it taken from him, helpless, and now sits before Pilate. He's been charged with treason. That's the highest possible charge because they say that he claims to be king of the Jews. He makes this claim for himself. It's what really annoyed them. You can imagine how it annoyed Herod. You can imagine how it annoyed religious leaders and even Pilate, who tries to get out of this situation by saying he's not a Jew and all that goes with it, really must be challenged by it. Pilate asked Jesus if he really believes himself to be a king. Now that's a profound question because he's not saying just, are you a king? He's saying, do you believe yourself to be a king? He's really asking about self-perception, and Jesus' answer could appear to many people who read it for the first time to be ambiguous. You say I am a king. Now, Pilate might say, I didn't say that, not at all. He said, it's your people that say that's the charge. But Jesus not only accepts the title, but I think he redefines it for all time. So that as we begin Advent, when we understand power and authority and kingship, that whole story that the one who is the king of the whole world is born as the weak, helpless baby child at Christmas, and through to the powerful stories of Easter, he's not so much a king of this world, but a king of truth. Now, the model of kingship in the world is awfully challenging because wherever people understand royalty, it can often be in a hierarchical power base. The kingship of Jesus is very different. It's seen in his humility. It's seen in his willingness to become part of this world, humble himself, that whole truth in Philippians chapter 2 and elsewhere of one who emptied himself and became nothing and died upon a cross, even a cross. That gives us a different picture, a very, very different picture. The one who eventually will have a crown of thorns placed upon his head. So before we move to Christmas, before we rush into that season of Advent, we say to ourselves, really, what is the kingship of Jesus all about? Well, I think that we ask that question, we reflect upon it in the context of the interrogation of words that was going on at the judgment seat with Pilate at that time. The whole question that follows is about what is truth, because Jesus is a king of truth. He's one who challenges people, extremely challenging to read for us even today. That wonderful feeling, everyone who's on the side of truth listens to me. So he might be saying, even to Pilate, if you really were on the side of truth, you'd listen to what I've got to say. And what I've got to say is about a different way of being king. One who will be king not only of the Jews, but of the Gentiles and of the whole world. One who will be king not only in terms of power, but in terms of truth, integrity, and humility. And so, as we prepare ourselves, before we start lighting any candles to celebrate Advent, before we start getting presents ready to give each other at Christmas, we remind ourselves that the pattern of kingship that we see in Jesus is revealed in one who really is true. And John's Gospel also tells us that we shall know the truth, and the truth will set us free.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also connect to Keith's blog and stay up to date on all of the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
I was recently in Newcastle and met 3 regular viewers of the show. It's always good when you go around Australia to meet people who say, well, I watched the show. It's good to talk. So thank you for joining us wherever you're joining us from. Now, Kim, it's been good to talk to you. In the lead up to Christmas, how important is not just the meal, but the sharing of it with family and friends?
Very important. It's a wonderful time to celebrate the birth of our Saviour and each other, as we just really care about each other from the year that's passed and the year that's ahead. It's really important to take that time.
Will you have family with you on Christmas Day?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, have a great Christmas Day.
Thank you, you too.
And at Wesley Mission, we like to think that one of the ways you can celebrate it is by having an empty chair at your table that you fill with someone who might be on their own, who might not have the resources to have all the things that go for Christmas. You make their Christmas as you start to prepare for Advent and you make your plans. Invite people to share with you. Please don't hesitate to write, to be in touch if you've got any questions or comments that have arisen from today's programme. Or if you'd like to know, have any more information about our work in any way. Our email address and website, again, is impacttv@wesleymission.org.au, wesleymission.org.au. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Kim Wilkinson and the thoughts from Jesus and Pilate. Do join us next week for another episode of Wesley Impact. Thank you and God bless you.
Wesley Mission provides in-home support to more than 1,700 people each year. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.